What's up, guys? If you don't already know me, my name is Carla LeClaire. I'm 24 years old. I am from France, but I currently live in Tampa, Florida. So I wanted to make this first video about my prep journey and just give you guys some insight on how overall the prep has gone, as well as some details on my training, nutrition, and cardio. And then I also wanted to share with you guys some of the mental and physical challenges that kind of came with this prep, so you can hopefully take something out of this. Starting off with a little bit about my training background, I started lifting towards the beginning of college in 2019. I didn't really know what I was doing the first couple years of my fitness journey. I followed a push-pull leg split and trained kind of power building style, which is like a mix of bodybuilding and powerlifting. I competed in one powerlifting meet and it went really well, but my body hurt really badly from lifting so heavy, and I also didn't love the way my physique looked. I was a little bulky for my liking, so I knew I wanted to make the switch to bodybuilding. So I joined MI40, which is a big bodybuilder gym here in Tampa, and a couple months after that, I was signed up with a coach and prepping for my first bikini competition. Physically, it was pretty tough. It was my first time ever tracking my calories or even doing a proper cut. I had a lot of body fat to lose, so by the end of that first prep, I was doing 20,000 steps a day. I had over an hour of cardio. I was eating 1,000 calories. My body was just completely beat up. So I knew I wanted to compete again, but not until I felt completely ready. So I took a 2-year off season to grow and just work on my weaknesses, which I did, and I also switched coaches during this time. My goal this time around was to have a smoother, more successful prep and just get back on stage with a lot more confidence than I did the first time around. And then my ultimate goal with bodybuilding is to turn pro, which either it'll happen this season or next season or however many seasons it takes. I'm just gonna keep competing until I get that, and then I probably will stop. I'm not 100% sure yet though. So a little bit about my training protocol. My main issue when I first started competing in bikini was that I'm extremely quad dominant. So my quads are too big while my glutes and delts were too small. So for the past 2.5 years, I've been trying to atrophy my quads by not training them at all and just focusing on growing my glutes and my delts. My split has been 3 glute and hamstring days a week and then 2 shoulder days a week. I focus on training with intensity rather than doing a ton of volume. So I do about 4 exercises per training session and 3 to 4 working sets per exercise. Moving on to cardio. My cardio protocol this prep was so much easier than my last prep. The past few weeks leading up to my show, I haven't done any cardio at all, and I think that's a big part of the reason my body has reacted so well. I've just been really relaxed. My coach didn't want me to do any Stairmasters so I wouldn't waste away any muscle, so I mostly just did incline walking on the treadmill and rollerblading on the Riverwalk because it's a little more fun. So overall, cardio this prep has been very pleasant, no complaints. Then a little bit about my nutrition. I followed a meal plan this entire prep, which I also follow a meal plan outside of prep, but I just give myself more flexibility. My nutrition was high protein, high fiber, easily digestible foods, and mostly whole foods. My first 3 meals of the day were rice with either chicken, turkey, or fish, spinach and edamame for fiber, and Brazil nuts or avocado for fats. And my last meal was protein ice cream, which is just a scoop of whey protein and almond milk. And throughout my prep, my coach adjusted my calories and macros. We started out with a pretty big drop to 1,800 calories and maintained that for about 2 months. Then when we hit a plateau, we started carb cycling, so I had low, moderate, and high days. High days were 2,000 calories, moderate days were 1,700 calories, and low days were 1,200 calories. That worked super well. I dropped weight really quickly. The low days were pretty tough. I was really emotional and hungry. We reached a low weight of 111 pounds, which is 30 pounds down from where I started prep, and we've been reversing since then. So my calories are at 1,900. I'm not that tired, not that hungry. I feel great. We kind of did it this way so that I could come in with a fuller look, just because I'm still kind of small in terms of size for the bikini division. So a little bit about my mental and physical experience through this prep. Physically, the difference was massive. My last prep, I was exhausted for 4 months straight. My body hurt so badly from doing an hour Stairmaster every morning that I had no energy left to give to my lifts. I was hungry and I was so food focused. My Instagram and TikTok feed was all like food videos and food reels, which, don't get me wrong, you're supposed to be hungry and tired during prep. That's completely normal. This prep was just so much more tolerable in comparison. I had a harder time this prep with the mental aspect. I was a lot more emotional and sensitive. Felt like I couldn't give my all to the people I loved. I was sad to miss out on events and trips and life, and I felt like I was preventing the people around me from doing fun things. And probably the hardest part of the entire thing was body image. I was so insecure with how I looked, especially the leaner I got. I got a lot leaner this prep than I did my last prep. I went down to 111 this time, while last time I was 120, which it's a pretty big difference. I was insecure about my face being so skinny and a little bit wrinkly. I was so insecure about my butt being flat and small. I felt like I didn't have any curves. I just didn't feel very feminine. So I already wasn't feeling the best about myself. And on top of it, I was getting a ton of hate comments on social media about how anorexic I looked and how unhealthy I looked and how much better I looked before I lost the weight. I've been posting on social media for a while now, so hate comments aren't anything new to me. They usually don't get to me, but this time they were hitting an insecurity I already had, so they just hit a little harder. But I also knew the stage lean physique was temporary, and I reminded myself why I was doing it in the first place and how cool it was that I was able to push myself and push my body so hard to reach a goal. So yes, there were a couple challenges, but overall I couldn't be happier with how this prep has gone. I came in with more experience, I had a better understanding of my body, I worked with a coach that was a better fit for me, and what made the biggest difference was the support system I had. My friends, my family, especially my boyfriend, because he spent the most amount of time with me and had to make the most amount of sacrifices to support me through this prep. Also, the support I got from my followers on Instagram and Snapchat, it all just made a really big difference. My advice for anyone looking to compete would be to make sure everything in your life is in order. Make sure you're emotionally and financially stable, because bodybuilding is a very selfish sport. You're going to be putting a lot of time and energy into it, and you want everything else in your life to just be in a really good spot. So that's all for my first video. I will be posting videos of each of my show days, so go ahead and subscribe if you want to see those. I'll also be posting a show day vlog on Instagram and TikTok, and posting my day-to-day and getting more personal and answering any questions you guys might have on Snapchat. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys on my show day. Say bye, Blue. Bye, Blue.